Well, 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 if it isn't mistrade on a Tuesday in the neighborhood, Matt, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. It's pretty slow out there in the markets. That's for sure.
That is for sure, Matt. For sure, a little. Let's just talk here. The news, breaking news, Matt. Breaking news. There's nothing breaking about this news. The charade starts today, Matt, and today I was informed that it's just going to be arguments of whether this charade should be taking place or not.
Well, John Roberts has already said.
I think it's important that we pay these people all this money, insure them better than any of us can get insured, and then debate whether this fucking charade is going to be even a legal and binding proceeding.
Of course it's not. It's kabuki theater at its finest, and I guess it allows those in the power circles to keep controlling their supposed power. I don't know. Doesn't mean anything to you and
I'll tell you this much. I will not be watching.
I didn't watch the first one because it was a total sham. This one's the same thing. So,
and I love how they try to the theater, the solemn walk across the rotunda. They shut the fuck up. The solemn walk.
The religion of politics.
The articles of impeachment. This is going to be, in 50 years, they're going to look at these people and say, look at these fucking assholes. Anyway, speaking of assholes, Jose Canseco.
Jose, can you see?
Fighting Billy football. Matt, this story is, listen, say whatever you want about Jose Canseco. The guy showed up and rang the register for $1.3 million.
And 10 seconds, right?
Across the ring, got tagged. Didn't even really look like he got tagged that well. Went down 12 seconds, 1.3 million. He's the richest man on the planet. If you fractal out the 12 seconds into a...
Yeah, but he used to make about $1.2 million for every shot of roids he used to inject before he'd hit a home run every day. So,
that was always an ongoing argument. Like, what's the easiest professional sports job there is? And for sure, like at first, it started in the pits long ago. But remember when Eckersley signed the fucking giant deal, right, as a relief pitcher?
With
it was
the
one
A's?
of the biggest contracts in baseball as a relief pitcher.
Yeah.
And I think we figured out it was like $43,000 a pitch. When he's going to come in a handful of games. There's 180, whatever. How many times did the relief pitcher come in? Not all the games, right?
I mean, a busy guy, that has a close, team that doesn't score a lot, and wins 3-2, might get 60, 70 innings. That's a busy guy.
Right? I mean, so we actually did the math. It's like, here's the wind up and the pitch. It's a ball low and outside. No, that's $43,000 is what that is. Yep. Every throw. 50G. Anyway, I thought this, and I actually watched this, and you have to watch it like 4 times to see if a punch actually landed, because it was like this, this flurry, and then remember Soccer Bopper, it was ridiculous.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots, basically.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots. And then Canseco, I don't know what's the backstory here. Get my name out of your filthy New England chowder-filled mouth, Stool Presidente. I love it. Chowder, chowder head. I'd like to see him actually try to use the accent as well as I do. And Portnoy just coming back.
What is the backstory on this? I mean,
I don't know. Maybe somebody out there in the Twitterland can enlighten both of us as to what's going on with these shenanigans. I mean, maybe Portnoy said, "Listen, this was a pay-per-view deal, right?"
Yeah.
And so maybe his pay-per-view people are like, "What in the flying fuck? That was a joke for my 12 seconds." I mean, come on.
I mean, they probably are, but
at
I
the
think
very least, he should have had to stand up, and the other guy should have got 2 or 3 clean shots at him. Like, listen, if you're going to take a knee, I get you crack you a couple times for the 1.3 mil.
Or at least they should have had, Jose, can you see, with a bat swinging at the guy or something. Maybe they should have put him in like a, one of those like, blow up, sumo wrestler.
By the way, the guy must be hard up, right? 1.3 million. It's unbelievable that he got to cash that check. but he's 56. He's our age, and he's fighting a 21-year-old kid. The kid wasn't small. It's like, what do you want to do that for, you moron? He's not a moron. He's 1.3 million shekels fucking richer.
Yeah, he probably had to pay it. He probably had to pay it to Pamela Anderson or something, though. There's probably some court case out there.
A little RIP, man. Mary Wilson. Again, Black History Month, and we will be showcasing some more Black musical talent via a terrible white musician, me, on Friday. But anyway, Matt, Mary Wilson, founding member of the Supremes. I saw her on tour a decade ago. She's still belting it out incredibly well. And what a voice and musical talent to round out that singing group. I mean, a lot of strong voices in there, but.
Well, I mean, I saw some quotes from Diana Ross, of course, how she was her hero, et cetera. And again, those people, and Berry Gordy were Motown right there. I mean, those guys were before the Spinners, before the Four Tops, all the real, Michael Jackson. I mean, these women really, forget about Black music, all music. They shattered music for all women, I would say. I mean, it was what do you got, a little Starlink again coming over you?
I got Starlink.
Yeah, well, you looked up like something was coming over your
well,
head.
I got the vacuum going on in Studio B right above the head. Starlink. When you're talking, they can't see me and what I'm doing. I mean, I can be lubing tubing over here while you're talking, and nobody can see it. That's the way this thing moves in and out.
Gotcha.
Anyway, R.I.P. Mary Wilson. Thank you so much for that musical influence. And Matt, on to some trading actionable information. I didn't know this was coming down the pipeline, but we now have the CME group volatility suite of implied volatility indexes, energies to metals. It'll be interesting for me to see how this plays out on these issues, because sometimes you just want to play the volatility, right? Especially in commodities, where in general stocks, the volatility is when there's a downside event going to happen. But in commodities in particular, right, that vol can be caused on either way. The flow is looking like it's going to happen. So I'll be like I said, I'm brand new to seeing this out there. But I'll be interested, and we will keep our eyes on this and share some price discovery as these vol indexes evolve with price discovery, Matt.
As you know, Bob, I happen to be a little long volatility myself right now on the VIX. So let's see if we can't get some volatility.
You want to bring it up and show the chart?
Sure, I'm happy to show the chart. I'll tell you, it's been a quiet market as we've marched now. This is 7 days in a row to new highs, and again, a 7% move on the SPOOs. I want to say the
over 9% for the Russell. I saw, right?
Yeah, the Russell's up like 22% for the year in 6 weeks. And about 11 or 12 in the last 7 days for the Russell, and it's blowing through the roof again. The NASDAQ and the S&P are up today, but it's literally like, man, there's really nothing going on. So I like this little bump that we saw, and as we've gone to new highs, we haven't made new lows here in the VIX. So I happen to have a few different the front month and the next month kind of positions on there. Not to complicate things, but I'm long volatility, and I think we're way overdue for some type of move, whether it's higher or lower, Bob. But I think we got to see some volatility here soon. Something's got to shake this market up, and again, I don't expect it to be a kabuki theater of Trump 2 impeachment, but something else is out there. There's more ships moving in the South China Sea from the U.S., more war games going on. I saw that news today. Oil, further higher prices again today. GME, by the way, back down $11. I wanted to point that out. Working working its way.
It's the full Monty, Matt. That is the full Monty.
I mean, I said last week it'll go back to 35 by next week, and we're almost there. So we're at 49 again, which is where we kind of bounced from last time. So let's see if they can push it back to that meat of the profile. The next meat, at least, is 35, and then below that, you're going to go back to 23. So enjoy the ride. If you still want to hold your $340 buys, you got another $25 or so to go in the next week or two that will play out. So why not take your losses now instead of losing the last $20? I don't understand it. But
no way, man. Hodlers right to the grave. Turn the lights off, Matt. On Twitter, a little call out from a JP Morgan associate on how nobody's talking about the dollar. And I had to say, wait a second, Miss Trade, Matt Davio here has been talking the dollar for months now, not just the last 3 weeks, right? It's been on our radar along with commodities, which we're going to talk about in a second here, grains in particular. And let me bring that up and I'll share, and then we can get back to the dollar. Don't let me forget though that we need to get back to the dollar and talk about it. All right.
All right.
And this is another thing from the CME talking about soybean harvest in Mato Grosso, which is in Argentina. 5% complete. Or is it Brazil? I don't know. It's down there, southern hemisphere, which is summer now. So very slow on the production side, on the harvest.
Is that because of COVID, Bob, or what's going on there?
Yeah, all the soybeans have COVID in South America.
Well, no, I'm just saying, are the farmers not?
No, I think it's been too wet.
Okay.
It's been too wet to get into the field.
How about those floods?
Too much rain. Yeah. Anyway, the WASDE report is a worldwide stock grain report, and it was released today. I have a wheat position on, and this is my type of trading, Matt. I tweeted out, when is the WASDE thingy come out? And the guy said about 15 minutes ago. Oh, okay. And I got to tell you, for me, I've evolved to my trading where it's a lot of times a portion of my trading is a lot longer term time frame, where if the report blows me out of the water, I'm not sure it was the greatest chart set up to begin with, that there's that much ambiguity in the chart that the report's going to blow it out of the water. Anyway, I wanted to share and show you just why, sometimes it's difficult just to rely on the report for your position. Right, because this is the wheat supply and demand, and if you look at that right column, Matt, it's negative from 1920 down the board, and they broke the wheat. So obviously this wasn't as negative as they were anticipating. Anyway, I still think longer term, I still like the wheat, and I know you're going to share yours on a profile basis because a lot of these grains on the break. From the report went right to meat of profiles, right to points of control. And for me on this 610 chart, right down to that lower momentum level, 640 physical, Matt. That's like Dick Butkus in that one gap physical, man. You're not running them over. I talk about chart points like that all the time when they're more important, right? Being a physical area. Let's jump back to you and let you share that profile look on the grains.
Sure. Yeah, as you and I discussed before we came on here, I didn't have a position coming into the WASDE report, but really nothing has happened here. And this is a 15-minute, almost a month look. So yeah, it sold off from that bounce that it had, but it didn't make a new low. It didn't even test the lows here on the wheat, and the corn and the beans really saw the same thing. So if as we have been saying, food shortages worldwide, et cetera, floods, famine, new world order, whatever your cause is for limited production, I think that still looks solid to me. If you have a big macro play of those being the things that you're following, I think this is a great opportunity to buy it on sale today. So there you go. I mean, we actually, spiked up a little bit in the beans, got 1408 or so. But again, we had kind of run into this number, and so I think the expectation, again, and I don't play the expectation games with these types of reports. It's just I follow the price only, and the price told me there's really nothing to be concerned about, and if it sells off, buy more. So that hasn't changed. The low that we set back here down near 13, we didn't even get close to it, Bob. So don't be too wary. We're right in the meat of the profile. Your friends are with you here, and they want to probably continue to see this thing go higher. So take this dip, which was just, again, it was a sell. It was a moment to sell because we had bounced so much from $13 up to 14. You had a dollar run. So let it test again. Let it test into the meat and buy it back. I think that's really the thing that you have to look at here. Nothing fundamentally has changed. It's still a bullish fundamental story. The technicals look great. So no worries.
Right on. All right, and
no worries on my end.
Let's take a recap of the dollar too, because
yeah, let's do it on your charts because mine are lagging here.
And it's DXY, yeah.
Yep.
Let me just type that right in. Why, man, I keep doing that. I keep searching for a rainbow.
Alphabetize, my friend, alphabetize.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. All right, this is a good share here because the dollar index giving back some. But again, the nuance that I want to point out here on this is the daily. The nuance is that lower momentum level, 90.39, 90.40. Two things. Obviously, this chart is upward sloping now, this price action. The last 3 days have been down, but by and large, since the beginning of the year, this has been going higher. And so for me, especially on this, and again, it's time frame specific. So on this daily time frame, that 90.40 level better hold. A great place to enter the market from the long side because if it closes below there, you don't want to be in it, right? And so on the longer, on this chart, on this fractal, that's the line in the sand for me. That lower momentum level. You don't want to see it close in lower momentum. It couldn't be simpler. Like you don't want to see the guy go 0 for 4 again tomorrow, right? Or an 0 for 4 again the next day. You're going to move him from leadoff to 7 or 8 in the order if he keeps batting like that. That's the kind of and let's fractal out 3-day. Going to test the average. Guess what? Same area, 90.33 weekly or 3-day average, and let's go out to the weekly. So again, like I talked about before, longer term charts take some time to turn around. Like so on this weekly chart, we still got decaying potentiality on these standard deviation lines. It's going to take some time, a couple weeks of not getting back into lower momentum on the weekly, 90.05, let's call it. And as we move sideways and we can change the potentiality on these lines, that's what's going to give us a much different look like you saw back here in 2014-15. I'm a big proponent of longer term leaning when the slopes are with me. All right. So I don't think the story's been told yet fully here in the dollar index. And if they can regain lower momentum on these time fractals that we've talked about, I think the dollar stays, weak. But we got an evolving story here. All right. And unfortunately, not like the evening news, it's not going to evolve that quickly. It's going to take several weeks to evolve to see which direction this thing is ultimately going to go. And that's the nuance of it. And that's why you need patience. You can't just check your Wall Street bets board and see what's going to make you a millionaire this afternoon. I mean, give me a fucking break. Come on. That's not trading.
Unless, Bob, you're in the pot stocks and you had great news again out of Canopy Growth. Then you can get higher, baby. Get higher. And CGC traded over $50 here in the U.S. today. Big move and big numbers out of CGC revenue-wise. Huge revenue for the quarter. I think they did about 160 million. And this is, one of the primary cultivators in the country for weed. And these guys are the player. And this is telling the story very strongly. And again, back in the fall before the election, are like, you got to get on board these stocks, no matter who wins. The legalization, the federalization of marijuana is going to continue. So what a great buy-in opportunity you had back in October when it was
Look
trading.
how, you know what, again, the nuance of that, Matt, look how much time it spent not rallying to the moon, but above the meat of that profile.
Yep.
I mean, and again, we talk about this, that's why it's the vitals, right?
Yep.
That is a healthier price action than if it was making that same price discovery inside of that profile. That's the nuance. That's the setup that you're looking for. It's like, yeah, it spent this whole time above the meat.
And again, from October until February, so we're only talking 4.5 months here. You've got a 4-bagger, and congratulations for those that jumped on this. But surely take some profits on the good news too. Good news that opens up and goes higher like this. I always encourage take some off, because when it pulls back, if it pulls back, then you can buy more. But it's a great way to buy. For example, like if you had bought corn and beans, the last couple weeks, you should have sold them into this WASDE event, knowing that
bump them, right?
Knowing that the news was dictating, the coming news was dictating. This is kind of the same thing. It had actually run into earnings, but the earnings just blew away what the street thought. So you got even a bigger bump. So you take off a little bit, maybe into the event in case it sells off. But now you take off a little bit more, and maybe you go from a full position to a half position now, and that's fine. And you wait for it to pull back, and it could be pulling back from 80. I don't know, Bob, but this thing is definitely a little stretched to the upside, momentum wise. High RSI. This is an 89-minute chart. High RSI, higher price, but lower momentum. So I would say that this is probably the event you want to sell into, and again, buy it on the dips as it comes back down. This is what the professionals call trading around a core position. Whether you're long and or short, you have a bias one way, but you should take profits when you're long or when you're short, and then put them back on when they bounce or they fall back down, right? So as a short, when they bounce back up after you've sold them and you bought them lower, you sell them back on the bounce. It's not a perfection game. It's just all about kind of the accordion, in and out, inhale, exhale. And those are the important steps, I think, that people don't realize. Like, if you're thinking that you got on board at $12 or whatever the low is over the last, the low is somewhere back in the 9s back here in March. If you've been holding it from March and it's gone up 5x and you've done nothing, that's great. But by all means, take some money now.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And for me, I've spent a couple years in the crypto space and watching people interact in the space. Everything's a moonshot. Like, everything's a Lambo. It's the most ridiculous, unhealthy trading mentality you could possibly have. It's ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing to think about, Bob. Think about this. We've got maybe 13, 14 states, maybe I think there might be 30 states with a combination.
Right, man, even Alabama is ready to go. Alabama.
Right. I mean, everybody's going legal. It's just there's too many tax dollars for these states to ignore at this point. I mean, it's they have to. So you're looking at an $18.5 billion market cap, and this is one of the largest companies. And by the way, this company, has a lot of big corporate names that are major institutional owners already, that are not in the pot space. So there's a reason why, because they see their products, especially on the soft drink side of things, CBD, right, is going to be infused into these drinks on a major way. Huge markets coming up here. So, but with that comes a lot of volatility, because it is, they're going to have structural issues when it comes to finance and the timing of, facilities are going to fail and a deal is going to fall through. So that's why I say when those news events happen, they're just blips, but the stock will take a hit. When those things happen, that's when you need to be comfortable and have done your homework on the profile and go, well, I'm happy to buy it at 34. I'm really happy to buy it at 24 when it's trading at 50. And it sure feels good when you've parceled half of your shares off at 50 that you've owned maybe since 12. And then when it comes back again, your average is moved down to basically 5. I mean, when you after you've taken profits like this. So it's just the smart thing to do. Prune the position, when it takes off like this, and then buy it back when it comes back down. Because again, the volatility will be there in these pot stocks and these weed names for sure.
All right, Matt. I'm not sure what else I got here on this Tuesday. I don't think I have another slide to share, Matt. I just don't.
I have one more for you, Bob, and I'm gonna.
Yeah, please share.
Talk about market caps again. Canopy's at 18 million. What do you think your favorite?
Dude, I saw it. Yeah, I was gonna bring it up. I actually wanted to say that.
What do you think your
Canopy's
favorite?
18 billion.
18 billion. What do you think?
Doge is $10 billion, right?
How about Roku today? Up again, another high. We like to talk about this. This is like your pony stock, right? This is
still one I don't get. I
don't either, Bob.
Stick, really?
I don't either. But let's take a look again.
Maybe they got an exclusive with Paramount streaming. Like I mean, that was all over the Super Bowl, right? Paramount streaming services.
Yeah, Viacom, CBS. It's the same company. All the same shit. Anyways, Roku, again, $480 with a $61 billion market cap, Bob.
It's impossible, Matthew.
So let's talk a pairs trade. Buy the Canopy and sell the Roku, right? I mean, there's an opportunity for people. I think you can pair in, people are going to get higher and smoke more pot. But
well, maybe that's the problem, though. They get high and then they decide the Roku stick is the only way to go.
No.
I don't get it.
I
don't get it. Roku, and believe me, I don't get it. And they got my money because I played the don't on Roku.
It's still not there. I still don't see a place to enter on this short side. I just
where's the 10x level?
Well, 10x would get you to about 560. So we're not far away. I'm waiting kind of for that. Honestly, that's where I'm waiting for. So we bought them there at 56.49. We're not far from it, Bob. I've just been waiting.
Yeah,
I've got my offer out at. I got 100 shares out at $564. There you go. I'm offering.
Unreal. It is unreal. Yeah, Matt. And then I swear I saw that today that the Dogecoin, a joke, a cryptocurrency coin. Let's talk crypto for a second, Matt.
Yep.
Let's bring it in with the little crypto, a little matrixing of the crypto after dark. Crypto after dark, the real stories about crypto, Matt. And Doge, again, I know you shared and we talked a little bit about it. Was the Mark Cuban tweet. And again, I'm calling into question, whether that's the best learning opportunity for your kids to actually tell them, all right, this is a joke, right? But by all means, risk some money in the joke. So you get used to price action. Why don't you just paper trade the S&Ps and you can get the same, instructional about price action and how markets work. You can actually paper trade real things instead of risking money on fake things.
Or when all this hype comes out the day it comes, sell it, as we suggest here always. When it jumped up to 9 cents again there.
Unreal. It's a $10 billion joke that people are holding.
And it's already back to 6. So it's been cut in a third in about 12 hours already, which again is a pretty good trade if you just listen to Bob and Matt when you get these news events that on these alt fake coins, as we like to say, sell them. It's a great opportunity.
I hear it. And this is important though, because they are staying above the meat of this profile.
Yep.
And so maybe the pump isn't done yet. Enough people, believe me, this is the classic pyramid scheme, right? And as long as people want to play, it has a potential to go higher.
Yeah, on the flip side, this is interesting though, since we're talking about it. You could say now everybody's going to, wait for Amazon to say they're going to take Bitcoin, right? Well, here's the model. Tesla did not proof out so well with that model. Matter of fact, they peaked pre-market again yesterday at 878, down $30 already, which is nothing for Tesla. $30, but it's down, $30, which is, about 4% from the pre-market high, because Elon bought some, they moved some of their financing cash into Bitcoin, apparently, but nobody knows. And honestly, they could have bought it at 28,000 and they pushed it all off yesterday and sold it. This is the thing, when Warren Buffett announces he bought stuff, he's already bought it a long time ago. And I don't even understand how guys like Warren Buffett can say, oh, I bought it. And then he probably selling it as soon as he says that to the press.
Well, I mean, some of this is that as they have to file their since it's a publicly traded company, the SEC has filings that they have to adhere to.
Yep.
I think so. He could put that in the filing, and he doesn't have to say a thing about it.
Right.
I found interesting the article with Michael Burry of The Big Short, him saying that this was all a PR distraction because of the serious headwinds Tesla is facing regulatory with China.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know what? Let's keep the eyeballs off of the things that are going to truly impact our business going forward. And let's talk about Dogecoin because it's cute and people are ignorant.
Right.
And let's talk about Bitcoin because it is, I got no problem with the Bitcoin story. The Doge story was the one that I really had the problem with him tweeting.
Yeah, well,
and Michael Burry's right that this is all just a distraction.
Well, look at this chart, Bob. I mean, I've got a couple different brackets that I've drawn in a trend line. We're below the trend line. We're in the top of one bracket, heading to the lower end of this one. But the profile again to me is not bullish. I mean, this is not a bullish chart. I see us coming back to that 640 area at some point this year. So yeah, Elon's playing all the games to try to, again, keep the distraction focus away from what is actually happening with his actual business of producing cars. And they had a shit pile of recalls over the last couple of weeks too. I want to say like 200,000 cars. That is costly, right? That's going to show up in the next few earnings when they are fixing these cars for free. And I mean,
the story that we shared inside the network, Michael Burry, he's taken they didn't disclose how big of a short he's taken in Tesla, but he's like, there's some cracks in this model. And again, the emphasis of the story is like, why go through this PR, circle jerk unless you're trying to protect the other stories that you don't want people focusing on, like the recalls, like the regulatory issues with China. And hey, listen, man.
Hey, and recall just a couple weeks ago when all these flavors of the day again were going crazy. Nikola spiked again, and we said, "Oh, great, another sell opportunity." And sure enough, again, just because the junk floats up with the big boy, it's a great opportunity. Again, these are the trading moments. Like, you should know that this thing is a piece of shit from here on out. It has no worth. They don't produce anything, and every time they pump it up, they do it, and then it sells off again. So don't chase these pumps. Matter of fact, sell them. I mean, these are great opportunities. Again, from 30 back down to 22 in less than 2 weeks. I mean, fantastic opportunities are abound with the junk out there. And even with all the small caps and everything running, this market's starting to feel a little sketchy overall. I'm going to continue saying it.
Right on, Matt. All right, listen, please join the network, marketvitals.io, where you will be able to interact with people that have no problem telling you, especially from a risk and reward proposition, their opinion of the market.
Oh, I got one more follow-up.
Come on. Yeah. I got nowhere else to go.
Beaksy, orange juice futures, my friend. We talked.
Get it.
Look at this move we've seen here. 106 up to 113, 114 already. So the polar vortex is real. And Bob, you nailed this and said, we should be buying it back here at the 106, 108 level. And here we go. We're going up and up and up. So
fucking beaks.
This chart looks good. I think we'll see 118. I think we'll see 118 in the next 6 weeks, if not sooner.
You know what? This vortex too getting very serious. What did I see? 10 below coming for Kansas City. Not only were they ice cold in the Super Bowl, but they're about to freeze their rear end off here.
Not only did they not score a touchdown in the game, but they're not going to be able to have too many touchdowns scored in the field here for a while because the fields are
and even my brother down in Texas People are worried about major freeze events, broken pipes. I got to tell you, nothing worse than the old frozen pipe. Call the plumber. Oh yeah, the plumber's got 9 other people with frozen pipes in front of you.
You're in the
Sorry.
you're in the triage. Is it bad?
Can I pay you with my Dogecoin? The plumber's like, no, I don't take Dogecoin. Thanks.
Can I have your key so I can pay you with my 79-digit code?
All right, Matt. Thank you so much. You will be on the road tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, but I'll do a show before I head out.
Beautiful. And then we'll figure out the logistics for a pop-in for Thursday, Friday.
Yep. Perfect.
All right, Matt. Have a great day.